I was 14 years old, living in a small rural town outside of San Antonio, Texas. The kind of place where neighbors wave from their porches, where nights are so quiet you can hear the wind moving through the fields 2 miles away. Our house was old, 3 floors, my bedroom was on the top floor, and my window faced directly across the street. For years, the house across from us sat empty. The old owner, Mr. Calloway, had moved to be closer to his daughter somewhere up north, left the place sitting there, curtains drawn, lawn slowly dying. I never thought much about it, until the moving truck showed up. It was a Thursday, I remember, because I was home from school early dismissal day. I watched from my window as someone unloaded boxes, furniture, lamps, and then she stepped out of the car. She was young, maybe 22, 23, dark hair, pale skin. She moved differently than most people, graceful, almost too graceful. Like every step was deliberate, calculated. She looked up at my window. I stepped back fast. I don't know why. She hadn't done anything. She just looked. But something about that look made my stomach drop. The first few weeks were normal enough. She kept to herself, no visitors, no noise. She'd come and go, groceries, errands, always alone, always dressed well, always moving with that same quiet, deliberate pace. The neighbors talked about her the way small towns talk about anyone new. Sweet girl, quiet, keeps to herself. I didn't have a reason to think otherwise, but I noticed things, small things at first. Her lights. They never followed a normal pattern. Most people, lights go off around 10, 11 at night. Hers would go off at 8, then come back on at 2 in the morning. Every night, like clockwork. I told myself she worked late shifts, night owl. Nothing strange about that. But then there were the shadows. Sometimes, late at night, I'd see movement through her curtains, slow, almost rhythmic, like something pacing back and forth across the room, just a shadow, back and forth, back and forth. I started watching without meaning to. It was around 12:30 in the morning, a Friday, deep into summer, when I saw it. Her curtains were open. The light inside was dim, warm. She was changing clothes, completely unaware anyone could see. I'm not proud of what I did next. I was 14, curious, stupid. I watched, and that's when she turned and looked directly at my window. Not in the direction of my window, directly, at me, like she'd known the whole time. I froze. She raised one hand, and she waved, slowly. Then she pointed, her finger extended, curling once. Come here. I didn't move. I couldn't move. Every rational part of my brain was telling me to step away from the window, close the curtain, go to bed. But there was something else in me, something older than logic, something that whispered, don't go. I didn't go. I closed my curtains and sat in the dark for a long time. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning I told myself I'd imagined the whole thing. 14-year-old brain, overactive imagination. But over the following weeks, I started noticing more. Men would visit her house late at night. Always different men. Always strangers. They'd go in, and I never saw them leave. I'd watch the door for hours sometimes. Nothing. Maybe they left before I woke up. Maybe there was a back exit I couldn't see. Maybe. But the thing that really started eating at me, the thing I couldn't explain away, was the faces. One evening I saw her walking to her car with a man. Dark hair, heavy-set, blue jacket. They went inside together. 2 nights later, I saw her leave the house with a man who looked completely different. Different build, different walk, different face structure entirely. but he was wearing the same blue jacket. I told myself it wasn't the same man. I told myself that for a long time. By September, I was barely sleeping. My mom noticed, asked if something was wrong at school. I said no. I couldn't tell her what I'd been seeing. I couldn't explain it in a way that made sense, because it didn't make sense. One night, maybe 2 in the morning, I woke up for no reason, just opened my eyes, and I looked across the street. Her lights were on. Her curtains were open. She was standing at her window, looking at my window. She wasn't moving. She was just standing there, completely still. In the dark behind her, I could see shapes, things hanging from the ceiling, I think. Bundles of something, symbols drawn on the walls in what looked like dark paint. And her face. Something was wrong with her face. The light was dim. I know that. I know I was half asleep. I know all the rational explanations. But her face looked different. Like the features weren't sitting right. Like something underneath was moving. Her eyes caught the light from the street lamp outside. They reflected it. Not the way human eyes reflect light. The way an animal's do. She was gone by October. Just gone. Packed up and left while the town slept. No goodbye, no forwarding address. I thought it was over. Then the stories started surfacing. Old Mr. Henley down the road said he'd seen her late one night in the field behind the houses. Said she wasn't walking normally. Said she was moving through the tall grass in a way that made him feel sick to his stomach. He couldn't explain why. A woman named Diane, who lived 2 blocks over, said she'd invited her in for coffee once. Said the whole visit felt wrong. Said she kept catching her staring at things that weren't there. And that when she left, Diane found something in the corner of her kitchen. A bundle of black feathers. Knotted cord. Something she didn't recognize. She threw it away immediately. Said her dog wouldn't enter that room for a week. People in town started talking. Quietly at first, then less quietly. Someone had looked into where she came from. There were no records, no social media, no rental history, no nothing. Like she'd appeared from nowhere, and one of the older men in town, a man who'd lived in that county his whole life, he listened to everything people were saying, and he got very quiet. He said there were old stories about things that wear human skin, that move from place to place, that feed on something he wouldn't name. He said the signs were always the same, eyes that reflect in the dark, faces that don't stay still. And they always choose someone to watch them first, someone they know is already watching. I've never told anyone the full story until now. I'm 27 years old. I still don't open my curtains after midnight, because sometimes, when the street is quiet and the light is just right, I think I see a figure standing across the road, still, watching, waiting for me to wave back. I don't know what she was. I'm not sure I want to. But if you've ever seen something that didn't move right, something that looked almost human, tell me about it in the comments, because maybe you weren't the first one it watched either.